guys, Truth Because Jitsu here. We're going to go over 7 different attacks from side control. And one of the things I like to tell my guys when we're learning between white and blue belt is by the time you get to blue belt, I like to have a few, maybe 2 or 3 good options from any given position, whether it be attacks, defenses, or escapes. So we're going to show you a bunch of them from side control that they may not be all of your favorite, but you might be able to find 2 or 3 out of there that might be like real high percentage for you specifically. Myself personally, all of these ones are favorites. I use these ones a lot, so I've sort of added a little more than a few in a bunch of different positions. And from side control, it's a great position to get good at attacking from because A, especially when you're starting out in white belt, it's an easier to control position than the mount until you get good at controlling the mount. So you'll find yourself there wanting to stay there for controls purposes. But then for B, you're going to find yourself in side control a lot because it's the first position you stop and pass the guard. So every time you pass the guard, you're going to start in some form of side control. It's good to get to know how to attack from there since you're just there a lot. So with that in mind, we'll show you 7 attacks from side control. So to begin with, I want to cover what is a good technical, basic but sound side control. It's going to be one knee underneath his armpit, by his ear basically, one knee down by his hip. Our butt is down low. I don't want to be up high like this. Down low is going to be nice and grounded on the far side, hard to move. And we're trapping this near side arm between my elbow, my hip, and catching a gable grip here, underhooking the arm and the head, pulling in heavy chest pressure. Here is a very, very sound, powerful position to hold. So one of the things, the first thing that this person is going to be trying to do is going to be trying to hide their arms. And oftentimes I'll start with the near arm, digging an elbow down in between. So let's cover at least getting rid of this or dealing with this since it happens all the time. This hand that's underneath his head is going to slide back and find his elbow here. Now I'm going to switch my hips into Kesigatami and scarf hold here, pulling this elbow high, immediately switching back. Shelving that arm back to where it belongs, pulling it nice and tight so if he tries to dig that elbow back again, it's gone. I got it. So first attack we're going to do from here, we're going to focus in 2 focuses, on the far side and then on the near side. So let's start on the far side. The first one I'm going to be going over is going to be a Kimura on the far side. So the way that I like to set this up is I'm going to take this arm that's under the head and switch it elbow down here and switch my hips towards his legs this way. So now this arm is kind of trapped in front of me. It's a nice little workshop to deal with right here. A lot of times they're trying to hold me right here, that's fine. I want to take my arm that's by his legs and come inside by his elbow here. I don't want to reach back like this where he can grab with that back arm and pull me and cause me issues. I'm going to just slide it right in between the crook of the arm. There's always going to be space and find the wrist and then put it down to the ground. If I can avoid putting it to his belly, all the better because he's got grips so he can grab his gi, his belt that can make it frustrating to break. Getting it down to the ground is really important. Once we're here, we've got a Kimura grip, right? Double wrist control. I'm going to slide up the body here. Kimuras get tighter towards the head, looser down towards the legs. So I'm going to slide it up. You can feel the tension building in the shoulder there. Good. It's nice and tight. Now I'm going to switch my hips the other direction and then flip this leg over top of the head so that when I lean back to peel this Kimura across the ground, he's not going to be able to bring his weight off the ground. If it wasn't here and I pull, his whole body comes up. But if I have this here, I can keep his body down while I just bend his arm up for the finish. And we're just trying to lift this elbow up as we paint this across the floor like a paintbrush, like that. So the second attack I'm going to be going over here is on the far side, and this happens oftentimes when we're going for that last submission, the Kimura, and they change the orientation of their arm so it's not bent anymore. So we're here, we switch just like before, I find that grip, I come down, he straightens it here. So instead of trying to fight the cross body to bend it back, I'm going to switch my hips back to where I was, nice and low here. I'm going to follow him this way. So now I was here, I'm going to, with my palm of my hand on his wrist, drive this way. You see how it rolls his arm? I want it so his thumb's facing up. Once it's facing up, I'm going to grab my grips right here, and I want to roll both my wrists. Okay? This one bends his arm down, and this one lifts a fulcrum underneath his elbow. Right like this. It's a very easy lock where I'm not putting my weight in jeopardy. I'm not out of position. and we're already here. We've come over, little rock, we'll finish. One more arm lock on the far side. It happens oftentimes when they frame against my face right here, which is a good move for him. It's going to take some weight off of his chest, but I don't like this. This is a nuisance. So I'm going to take this one that's under his head out, try to come in again right by the elbow, slide up to the wrist, and jam it to the ground. Once I get here, I need to make sure my elbow's on this side of his head. This doesn't help. I need to have it on the other side of his head. I connect my wrists right here, and now opposite to the Kimura, where tightening it is in this direction, tightening the Americana is in that direction. So I want to slide down till all that tension builds in his shoulder, and then slowly rock in the same way that we rock the Kimura, elbow up, and paint the floor with his wrist down here. So if it's up here, it's loose. It's got a lot of movement. Down here, it's got very little before it taps. So the next one happens oftentimes while we're passing, and they had like our head, like they're trying to guillotine us. Yeah, right here. And oftentimes, they don't realize that this is not a good position for them in side control. They feel like they have some sort of control, they're not going to let it go. That's good for me. I'm going to keep this by using this arm here and hugging his hand against my neck. Let's turn a little bit. You can see his hand right here. I'm going to hug it right here. So if Alvin tries to pull it out now, it's stuck. And I'm going to take this hand that's under his head here. I want it palm down. That's very important. It has to be palm down, not palm up. I'm going to be palm down here, connect my hands in a gable grip, and then I'm going to sprawl out and put all my weight through my shoulder on his neck right here until he taps to shoulder pressure. People call this a Von Flue because there was a fighter in the UFC that hit this one that made it popular. His last name was Von Flue. So again, he's got that guillotine grip here. I'm going to grab that arm with my shoulder, grab it, connect my hands, sprawl out and put all the pressure through the shoulder. So that one can be a slow choke, which is fine. You've got all the time in the world to keep pressure down on it. It can be 5, 6, 7 seconds, but the blood's eventually going to just build up in their head and they've got to tap. All right, now moving on to the near side arm. We're going to have 3 different attacks I like to do from there. The first one is very basic, but the details really count, and that's just a straight arm bar on that side. I'm going to take this hand that's under his head. Now that I've got this arm isolated, right, like we showed at the beginning, if you need to isolate it, get it isolated. We're going to slide this back and find the elbow right here. And I don't like to grab any higher than the elbow. I want to be just below the elbow on the tricep. You can feel the notch of the bones on either side of his elbow. It's a really nice handle to grab right there. Gi or no gi, it's nice. You grab that right there. Now I'm going to come up to my feet right here, where it's basically a knee on belly, but I'm putting knee in the armpit. More like shin in the armpit. I'm putting my lower shin right here. And I want to rock that direction, okay? I'm going to fall back just like a regular armbar, but I don't want to do it from here where my weight is over top of myself. I want my weight going this way so that my leg becomes light to slide over. Now, I could finish from here, but I like to sit back on my butt, keeping this nice and tight. I can lean back for the armpit, or if it came loose, I can come right to the wrist and finish a typical armbar right here. One more time on that one. We're going to slide, come up, rock forward, fall back. We got our tap here, or if we need to, right here. Now, one of my favorite control methods from side control on that near side is stapling the arm with the high leg. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to take my arm back just like I was before to grab the elbow, but this time I'm going to grab the bicep. I'm going to shove it down to the ground, moving my own leg, and then replacing my leg over the top of it. So now I've got them stapled. Knee on this side, foot on that side, and that arm's trapped. So they don't like this one. It holds that arm out of position. They can't really do much with it. A lot of times, if I lift my butt off my heel, they'll try to reach through, and that's great. I'm going to reach through myself and try to grab his sleeve right here that's coming through, and I'm going to pull it up so it's in line with my pelvis, and then I'm going to hug his body right here, just like side control, but really drop my hips in low for the finish. It's a slicer on the bicep. So again, we're sliding back, finding the bicep, pinning it, stapling it. He reaches through, I grab his sleeve, put it straight up and down to my pelvis, re-grip the body, and I'm not leaning forward, I'm actually just dropping my hips to the ground right here to get the finish. The last one we're going over here is going to be using that staple on the near side like we did for the last one, but that's not the submission. What we're doing it for is to isolate that arm so we can use it. We're going to slide back behind the bicep, get that arm stapled, keep our butt to our heel so he can't do anything with this arm. Now I'm going to trap this arm using my head and this arm like this in a circle. So he can't use that arm and he can't use that arm. So now I've got one free arm to his none. I'm going to go thumb in right here, deep to the ground, my fist touching the ground. And then if he's hiding, sometimes they will be digging their chin down because they know there's a choke coming. I'm not just going to drop it right here. I'm going to come forward, slide up, and then drop my elbow to the ground. And there's no hands for him to deal with, or to deal with this. He's got no real defenses anymore. One more time, we're sliding, pinning the bicep, stapling the arm. I've got this trapped on this side. I come thumb in, punch the ground. I'm going to rock my forearm underneath and drop my elbow to the ground on this side for the finish. So there you have 7 of my favorite finishes from side control. I hope at least a few of them work well for you. Definitely try them out, see how it works. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. Any suggestions on future videos, love to hear it. Thanks for following. Make sure you subscribe for the next videos, and we'll see you then.